Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I wanted to go into this lesson dealing with knowing when you've dodged a bullet. Okay, metaphorically speaking, that is. And I was meditating on this topic or this title, how there are certain times when we may pray for certain things, or we may hope for certain things or try to accomplish certain things, but it doesn't go through for us, right? It doesn't work, or it doesn't happen, or you get rejected, or whatever the case is. And sometimes in the flesh you may get upset because you may have really wanted that thing. You may have been really excited for it, or you may have been anxious. You were looking forward to it, but it didn't go as planned. Put it like that. All right, it didn't go as planned, or it just didn't turn out the way you expected it to turn out. And sometimes that's not always a bad thing. Okay, and most times it's really not a bad thing. There's a saying about news, right? There's a saying that there's no such thing as good news or bad news. There's just news, and it's just about how you perceive it or on what end you are. You can tell somebody, you can tell two people the same piece of information or the same news, and one can take it as good news, one can take it as bad news. So it's kind of almost like there's no definitive, like there's no one classification of what's good news and what's bad news. What's good news to you could be bad news to somebody else, but ultimately it's news, right? So yeah, I wanted to deal with this because as spiritual men, we have to look past the things that are happening directly before us in the flesh, and we have to look at understanding what's taking place in the spirit. So the first thing is, well, whatever it is that you were looking forward to or you wanted, remember that everything is in the power of the Lord, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, whether to grant you that request or not, whether to acknowledge it or not, whether to have it come to pass or not. So if something doesn't go your way, it's not coincidental. The Lord set it up that way. And then you have to think in your head, well, why would the Lord have it to where this thing that I was really, really looking forward to, that I really wanted, it didn't happen. It didn't go my way. Why? What's going on? What's the reason? Is there something happening behind it? And sometimes, which leads to the title of this lesson, you may have dodged a bullet. Sometimes the Lord may be preserving you from a disaster or from a very bad situation that you couldn't foresee, because there's only so much we can see and know in this flesh. Even though we've been given a great deal of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we're still in the flesh, and we there's still so much that we don't know and we don't see, all right, which the Lord sees and the angels see. And so sometimes the Lord may hold you back from something that you really want to do or that you really want because it's bad for you. And an example of that is, you may have a toddler, right, or a baby, and sometimes a baby, you can see the baby trying to do something that is very, very dangerous, and yet they just keep on trying to do it, and the more you stop them, the more they cry. It's almost like a baby that sees a lighter, and they're trying to reach for it, and they're trying to keep play with it, or they see a knife and they're trying to pick it up and play with it, and to the baby, they that's what they want. They keep reaching for it. They keep you moving back, then they'll crawl right back to it, trying to access it, and immediately you stop them. Immediately you take it out of their hands, or you tell them no, or whatever it is, and they get upset and they cry. But they don't understand what's really going on. They don't understand the effects of playing around with a sharp object, or trying to put something that they picked up off the floor into their mouth. Because from their standpoint, they're a baby. They don't see the things that we see as adults. So to them, it's fine. It's something they want to do. It's something they're looking forward to. And it's up to you to say, oh, hold up. Now, it isn't until the child grows up, gains understanding, and then eventually it makes sense to them. Oh, This is why you smacked that object out of my hand, or you didn't allow me to do such and such. Damn. At the time, it seemed like a good idea, but damn, that was really a bad thing. Thank you. And so, going back to the title, know when you dodge a bullet. Sometimes it's not all events that seem bad that are bad. It's not, just because things don't go your way sometimes doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. All right. Now I want to start off here with the book of 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 9. Real quick. All right. So it reads, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. See? So the key part being the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations. You may be trying to, it may be, let's say there's a chick. You find out, she's not, you find out to the best of your knowledge that she's not taken, she's single and all of that. And yet you try to holler and it doesn't go your way. The Lord sets it up where it just doesn't work out for you. And that's because you never know. She may be single, but she may be a purebred demon. Even Satan wouldn't deal with her. That's just a joke, all right? The angels don't deal with, they don't deal that way like we do. All right? But the point is, she may be a demon. She may be a demon that'll cause you hell, that'll bring you troubles, that'll distract you from being as fruitful as possible in this knowledge, from all of those things. But she may look fine as hell. She may feign herself to be humble and quiet and shamefaced and loving. And it's hard for you to look past that. So in your mind, you're saying, well, damn, I've been speaking to her for a little while. She's good. Why didn't you have it work out for me, Lord? And that's you dodging that bullet. The Lord has it. They go south. It doesn't work out. She bails on you. Whatever the case is, something happens and it just doesn't work out. And the Lord is having you dodge a bullet because, like it says, He knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations. And temptations come in many forms. Maybe you would have got with the chick, and that would have led you into all different kinds of temptations that the Lord was delivering you from. So it's always good to assess and analyze in the spirit, being a spiritual man, right, or a spiritual woman. It's always good to analyze the situation that you are in before being hasty, before being quick to be angry, and getting upset and jumping into a woe is me spirit or whatever it is. Assess the situation. It's not easy because the moment things don't go your way, it's natural for people to get upset. Well, and being here in Babylon has amplified that. Something doesn't go somebody's way, they get upset, they get butthurt, they want to throw a tantrum, they don't want to talk to anybody, and they don't try to assess the situation and think about, okay, what are the pros and cons of this, right? Is there something bad that could have happened if this went my way? If what I was trying to really do, is it really beneficial? Looking at the situation and the position that I'm in right now, the things I'm responsible for right now, would this really have been a good addition, or would it just have been another burden to take away more time from me? All of these things, you have to think about in your life, because our lives, yeah, we do things in this world that we have to do, but really we were put here to serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's the top priority. And so the Lord he'll give you leeway as a man or a woman to live and do what you have to do, but anything that's a distraction, or anything that's going to shift you off the course of your purpose, is best. I mean, you should be happy if the Lord doesn't have that happen, if He doesn't have that cross into your path. So moving on, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 91 verse 11. It says, "For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. Now, the word charge goes into command or authority, okay, over thee to keep thee, which in the Hebrew is shamar, all right, to guard, to watch, to protect, to save life, to preserve, okay. So the point here is that the Lord has given his angels a command to watch over us, and so it is the angels' jobs to make sure that we are on the right path, doing what we're supposed to be doing, making sure things go accordingly, and that includes and because the angels have the power to work on the minds of others. Okay, I was listening to a video. I forgot what it was called, but one of the apostles, I think it was the apostle Ramlab, mentioned how the angels are able to protect you by holding people back from their intentions. Okay, and when he said that, it made a whole lot of sense when you think about it. So why does the angel have to manifest right in front of you and you know put up just grab the dude and throw him, choke slam him and throw him off of the train or some shit? If a dude in his mind is thinking, yo, I'm about to stab up the next person I see, and then you the next person he sees, the angel can easily just work on his mind and hold him back from that intention, and in doing so protect you. So the angels have the ability and the power to do these various different things, to work on the minds of men, to have certain events take place and certain events be affected in a certain way. They can do all that. Okay? And so sometimes the Lord, like it says, he would give them charge basically to do what's best for you, to keep you in all thy ways. So if it looks like you're going down the wrong path, you're going down a way that you ought not, then guess what? They will step in and do what they have to do as guardians, because they have been given a commandment or an order from the higher power, from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right? So it's always good to keep that in mind. Um, Moving on, this is the book of Romans. That was your problem. Yeah. Yeah. All right, this is the book of Salakia. Let me see if I can just find this real quick. This is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. It says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. Right? So all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called according to his purpose. So keeping in mind that even the bad things that happen in your life are there to work with the good, with the ugly, with all of that for your overall benefit, for overall for things to work out in a good way for you. Because in order for things, sometimes you got to go on a bumpy road to get to a smooth destination, which Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai would have happen to you on purpose. You see, but it's easy to get caught up in the carnality of the events that take place. It doesn't feel good. It got me pissed off. Man, I was really looking forward to this. What the hell? And not realize that, yo, the Lord controls it all. And he had that happen on purpose. You know? Alright. Salakia, let me just move out of here real quick. Right, so the Lord will have that happen on purpose so that, whatever outcome that he wants you to gain from it, you can gain that. Okay, so and there's times when you dodge critical bullets, and people don't see it, they don't consider it. In their minds, it's just I'm mad because, blah, 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 I didn't get this and I didn't get that, and it upset me and all this, this, that, and the third. But as spiritual men, we have to always be spiritual. We have to consider how things work in the spirit, and not just how things are looking, carnally, or, to that extent. It's like I'm just trying to park this thing up. And I was thinking about this because, I mean, we've all been there. We've all been there. You try to do something, you pray on it, and you hoping, well, Lord, I'm your servant. I'm doing the best that I can to do what's pleasing unto you. Please have mercy, and so on and so forth. And then you wonder why, damn, it didn't turn out as planned. What's going on here? But you also have to consider that, the second aspect of things, which is, hey, I'm really looking out for you. It's not everything that you want that you need, and the Lord gives you what you need, right? That's why in the Lord's prayer it says, what is that? Deliver not. Let me see if I can find it. Slakia, just a little. Yep. Don't worry, I'm not reading. I'm just parking this thing up. All right, now let's see if we can find this. Right, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Okay, and that's very important to remember. So now let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Where we at? Bear with me 1 second. There you go. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 9. It says, "Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools." Be not hasty. Don't be so quick to get angry. Like, don't be a hothead. Something, one small thing. What's all this? Sometimes you gotta calm down and analyze the situation. When you're in that hasty spirit of anger, being quick to react to everything that happens before you, it makes you weak. It makes you easy to manipulate, and it makes it hard for you to remain spiritual and to interpret or decipher the situation that you were in, so you can make a better judgment call. Maybe I should stop pursuing this, or maybe I should just chill out for a bit. Because sometimes, you keep trying it and trying it, it's not working. So clearly the Lord is showing you, look, I'm not with this. But you keep on going and going and going, and then you might get something that you didn't want. You might get something you ain't expect. There's a story that there was a woman, a so-called godly woman, right? And she was barren. She wasn't able to have kids. Those that were around her friends, or so-called friends, and colleagues and mates, they all had children, more than one, children here and there, and they would always brag about it, be happy. They would talk about it, and they would make her feel bad because she couldn't have kids. And she would always pray unto the Lord and always cry unto the Lord and say, "Oh, Lord, well, I've been a faithful servant. I always do my best to do what's pleasing unto you, and I pray every night, for you to open up my womb so I can have a child. And you watching these women out here make fun of me and all of that. What's going on?" And she would always pray and always pray and always pray. And it got to the point where, and the Most High heard it, but he just didn't acknowledge it. And one day she just, out of her anger, she was just like, "Look, here it is. How are you supposed to be a just God? And here it is. These people that aren't even serving you like I am, they got all these kids and they're fruitful and so on and so forth. She popping out babies like parking tickets, and I'm out here, what's going on?" And so the Lord gave her a baby. All right, he opened up her womb. She conceived. She got a baby, and she was happy. She was, praising the Lord. Thank you, Lord. And come to find out that the baby, I don't know if I said this before, but it's all right. It come to find out that the baby was crippled. right? The baby, it had a lot of defects, mental defects, things like autism, cerebral palsy. Couldn't move. Baby, basically, a baby was crippled, man, stuck in a wheelchair for all his life. Now, in the beginning, when she had the baby, she was happy, she was ecstatic. But as the child started to grow, he started to become burdensome onto her because he couldn't go to school. She couldn't go and work and do what she had to do because she had to always be there to monitor him and make sure that he's okay because he couldn't do things for himself. And as he got older, it got harder and harder to do and to maintain and more painful to watch and to experience. And quickly, her joy turned to sorrow. And then she went back to the Lord and started crying back unto the Lord and said, "Oh Lord, why'd you give me this baby? And look at the hell that I'm going through, and look at what you're putting me through. Is this how you treat your servants?" And the answer was basically, well, this is all that was left. There was no more good babies. This is the only one that was left. And that's why when you kept on asking, I didn't give it to you. Because I knew that this is what would happen. So I did not give it to you, but you wouldn't stop. You insisted and insisted and insisted. And so I said, all right, you want it? Cool. Here you go. So you got what you asked for. I gave you a baby. Unfortunately, it's not how you wanted it to be, but this is all that was left. And the moral of the story is, and it ain't written in the scriptures. This is a made up story. Okay. But it's to teach a lesson, a moral. The moral is, there's some things that you ask for, some things that you hope for, some things that you plan. See, with her, the Lord was trying to help her dodge a bullet, but she said, "Nah, I'm gonna take the shot head on." Okay, but the point is, there are certain times when you want something very, very badly. You desire something, or you're planning on something. You pray on it and everything, but it just doesn't happen, or it may not happen right then and there. And there's always a reason that you may not understand right away, a reason that you may pray for an answer, you might not get one, but it doesn't mean that there's not a reason. And also, just when you pray and you don't, if you pray for something and it doesn't happen, or you don't get an answer, that is an answer. And it's either wait or the answer is no. But keep in mind that in order to serve the Lord, we have to be spiritual. And being spiritual means that you have to analyze and look at things, not just from what you're physically seeing, but what is happening in the spirit, examining yourself, but also the events that you are involved in. Okay? So anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. Know when you've dodged a bullet. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.